Hey everybody, so on Tuesday, President Trump spoke at the United Nations. Now, if you're a Trump blinded devotee, then you would believe that he's going to make now the United Nations great again. It's a load of bollocks, okay? The Sustainable Development Goals that were initiated back in 2015, on the 25th of September 2015, was the first day of this part of the UN summit. These goals will be enacted between now and 2030. Not that we're going to reach 2030. Okay, the number 23, because 23 resembles the new man. 23 strands in a human, one single strand of human DNA is 23 chromosomes, and this represents the man Barack Hussein Obama. So there's been no talk of the Sustainable Development Goals that were implemented in 2015 for the last couple of years, right? And Trump speaks at the UN just a few days ago, and he makes no mention of it. He's there to do a different job, bring a different phase of the American imperialist democracy, so-called democracy, to the world, right? So anyway, goalkeepers. Obama spoke at an event on Wednesday, the 20th of September, in New York City, the day after Trump gave his speech on Tuesday at the United Nations, okay, to redeploy the idea of we must keep with the Sustainable Development Goals. So goalkeepers was the summit, and Bill and Melinda Gates were they hosted it, they set it up, and Obama was one of the key speakers, along with Justin Trudeau of Canada. Okay, so if you count from the 27th of September, which is the day President Obama addressed back in 2015 the United Nations, on the third day of the Sustainable Development Goals, to the day he addressed it again on Wednesday in New York at the Goalkeepers Summit, it's 23 months and 23 days exactly. 23. So this whole thing is staged, scripted to the numbers that are used by the elite. And like I said, Tuesday, Trump made no mention of what was signed off on back in 2015 to implement a total United Nations New World Order, Novus Ordo Seclorum, for the whole world. He made no mention of it, yet the very next day, okay, now I'm going to read from Reuters. In a rare public speech, Obama decries Republican health care bill. A rare public speech, right? So there was no rarity, happenstance, whatever that word is. This was all by design, right? Former President Barack Obama used a rare public appearance on Wednesday, 23 months and 23 days after he addressed the Sustainable Development Goals back on the 27th of September 2015, to question Republicans' latest efforts to repeal his signature healthcare law, saying it would inflict real human suffering on Americans. In his speech at a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation event in New York City, Obama also laid out optimistic vision of the world's future while implicitly criticizing Republican President Donald Trump's America First philosophy. The remarks were one of the few times that Obama, a Democrat, has spoken publicly since he left office in January. It is aggravating, Obama said, of the Republican attempt to eliminate Obamacare. It's certainly frustrating to mobilize every couple of months to keep our leaders from inflicting real human suffering on our constituents. But Obama said the healthcare fight was a good example of the way that advancement is often made through fits and starts, with backward steps tempering every success. Now, he wrote about this in the article Obama reckons with the Trump presidency back in 28th of November by the New Yorker article. I highly recommend you read that article. Progress is never inevitable, he said. It is often fragile. It is in need of constant renewal. With a new face, President Trump, I might add, who still works for the Obama agenda, the global foreign policy agenda of President Obama has been continued with President Trump. The true test, he said, was in how people respond in times of difficulty, when their efforts to make the world better run into resistance. And I wonder what that preconceived resistance is. Well, fake resistance. Your response has to be to reject cynicism and reject pessimism and to push forward with a certain infectious and relentless optimism, he said. Not blind optimism, not one that ignores the scale and scope of challenges, but that hard-earned optimism that is rooted in the stories of real progress, very real progress, and have occurred throughout human history. The speech came a day after Trump addressed the United Nations General Assembly for the first time as president, offering a full-throated defense of nationalism and expressing skepticism about multilateral foreign policy. During a question and answer session with Bill and Melinda Gates after his speech, Obama said the United States cannot hope to solve the world's biggest problems such as climate change or mass migration on its own. Yeah, they'll need the Obama Foundation, for instance. As he has largely done since leaving office, Obama did not mention Trump by name, but he made it clear that he disagreed with the president's viewpoint. You don't have to cede your sovereignty, or it doesn't make you less patriotic to believe that. Obama said you just have to have some sense and read. Yeah, read between the lines of what's going on. Obama is in control here. The 2030 agenda will continue to be implemented. This is the United Nations agreement. No Trump, no leader will ever bring that down or disrupt that. This is what's really going on. This is how it's going down. What's implemented in the 17, what will be implemented within the 17 Sustainable Development Goals is the United Nations globalist agenda. Thanks for listening.